Today we're going to show you everything you need to know to lift your Kawasaki H2 with the AGM Scissor Jack. Hi, I'm Brian with AGM and this is how you lift, where we test real vehicles and real situations to show you the best way to get the job done, because how you lift it matters. Trust me, it has happened more times than we care to admit. Nothing kills the fun faster than a simple trail fix turning into a whole new list of headaches. But it doesn't have to be that way. We build jacks that can actually help you with real trail problems. So today we're not going to show you just how to lift your H2. We're going to show you how to make the whole process a lot easier so that even a trail repair becomes just another part of the adventure. Let's get into it. Quick tip. If your car is drivable, try to get it off the trail and parked on a flat surface with no rocks, trees, or branches. That way there's nothing you're fighting with when you're doing the repair. And put that guy in park, and please, if you can, chock the tires for safety. All right, back to the show. So we'll start with front lifts today. Now with the Scissor Jack, we like to do all the lifts from the side of the chassis, not picking up from the control arms. And the reason we do that is the side of the car is parallel to the ground, creates a much more stable platform for the Scissor Jack to lift. Scissor Jacks aren't huge fans of kind of lifting up at angles, which is what happens when you pick up from a lot of these control arms. These cars are taller, so those arms have more of a downslope. Doesn't create the best platform, so side of the car. Now on the front of the H2, you're gonna find a chassis tube that runs towards the suspension right here. We're gonna move the head so that we run in the trough here, pick up on that tube. Go ahead and lift it now and show you. So we'll locate on that and then go ahead and lift. There it is. The car is off the ground and ready for repair. You know, one thing I should note, and I don't know if you can see it in here, there's actually a travel stop in the jack. As you're lifting with these longer travel cars, you are going to get close to the end of travel here. Keep an eye on this. You don't want to run this with the impact all the way in where this runs into the crosspin. You want to stop just short. That way the jack stays happy for longer. We're not putting as much wear and tear on it. Quick tip, if you have a toolbox, a cooler, spare tire, maybe there's even a big log or a rock floating around, let's stick that under the car next to where you're doing the lift. That's a second point of contact. It's going to add a little bit more safety just in case something shifts. It doesn't fall all the way to the ground because that item is catching it. Give it a try. Back to the show. An alternate lifting point up front is here at the front skid. There are two cross members here, one at the front near the front lower arm mounts and one near the rear mount. You can pick up off of either one of those. So we'll run in a little bit further on this one. Position so we're touching that cross member and lift. There it is, tires off the ground and ready for repair. For the rear lift, we're going to follow the trailing arm up to where it mounts. There's another chassis tube that runs perpendicular to the car. Follow that in and you'll actually find a big plate just inside the trailing arm mount. We'll just set the jack up to grab that. There we go. Now we're under that chassis tube and we can lift. right, there it is. Tire is off the ground and ready for repair. There are a few alternate lift points at the rear of the car. The first of which is to cradle the bracket here at the lower shock mount. You can also pick up off the skid pan if you're under one of the chassis tubes. Now, if you're gonna pick up from the skid, it is metal, it is super slippery, so make sure you have a really good connection and get that car all the way up. Make sure it's stable before you do any repairs. We don't want that thing falling off on you. But we'll show you the one here under the shock mount. So we're gonna lift that up. We're gonna get the channel here to cradle the chassis, or I should say the arm. And there you go, the rear tire is off the ground and ready for repair. Now that we got a flat, let's put it all together and show you what a tire change looks like. So we're gonna take the jack, position it just inboard of the pivot on the rear trailing arm. So we pick that nice flat spot on the center of the frame and lift. Now, I should note, we are doing this with a smaller than usual impact. Normally we'd have a 1/2-inch drive big impact, but some of you don't have that, so we wanted to show how it worked with a 3/8 compact impact wrench. Now, as you can see, it is a little bit longer than normal, but it lifts it just fine. Same thing for the lug nuts. This 3/8 drive will take these off, no problem. So let's get to that now. And you'll see I'm catching all the lugs. The reason we want to do that, besides not losing them, so we want to make sure they don't fall in the dirt. If they do fall in, there's a chance we get debris in here. When this goes to thread back onto the stud, that debris could gall these threads, damaging the stud and forcing you to replace this. It's not fun, don't do it. Try to catch these. Now, if one does fall in the dirt, not the end of the world. We're just gonna knock it out, blow it out, make sure there's no debris left in it. Then we're gonna put those in a safe spot, pull the flat off, and go get a spare. Okay, with the wheel installed, we're going to start all of the lugs by hand. And the reason we want to do that is there are no starting noses on these studs. So there's a very high chance that these could cross thread if you wanted to use your gun to put them on. Take the extra couple seconds. Make sure these are threaded on correctly. And you'll thank yourself later. All right, with those installed, now we're going to torque, well, I should say tighten. And we're going to want to tighten all these in a cross pattern instead of a circle pattern. And the reason we want to do these in a cross pattern is we want to make sure that this wheel pulls up flat to the rotor. We don't want it to come in at an angle, which is exactly what could happen if we tighten these in a circle. Because you pull all the way in this one corner, that could suck the top in, potentially not allowing you to pull that flat. Now, I would tighten all these and I'd never know that it was crooked. Then when we go to drive, this thing is going to square up and get loose. All the lugs are going to fall off, wheel comes off, studs get damaged, whole bunch of downtime, no fun at all. Use the star pattern. All right, at this point, if you have a torque wrench, lower the jack bound down just enough that the tire is touching the ground so this doesn't rotate, but we don't want to put the full load of the car back on this. Torque all these to manufacturer spec. Because we are out here in the middle of nowhere, we don't have a torque wrench. What we're gonna do is go around one more time with our impact just to make sure that these are good. Then when we get back home tonight, we can check them with the torque wrench. All right, now that we know those are tight, we can lower the jack back down. And get back on the trail. And that is everything you need to know to lift your Kawasaki H2 with the AGM Scissor Jack. Now, today's video had one goal in mind, and that's to make trail repair safer and easier, because how you lift it matters. If you got any questions or comments, leave them below. I'm Bryan with AGM. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.